love this. We're going to talk all about cottage cheese, a new kind of cottage cheese. Gerard Meyer is with us, CEO of Munna.
Yes.
I saw Munna first on Twitter. I will tell you, I was watching the Super Bowl, and your social media types were doing their thing with Munna, and it caught my attention. And I thought, what is this? All right, Gerard, what is Munna?
So Munna is a cottage cheese. It's we've reimagined cottage cheese, basically. So we've taken cottage cheese, which has kind of been comatose for like 40 years.
Really? It's been sleepy? People haven't been...
Nothing has gone on in cottage cheese. It's kind of in large tubs with ugly, it says cottage cheese on it. That's about it, plain, right? And has done nothing in like decades. And whereas yogurt has taken off like crazy. Cottage cheese used to be twice as big as yogurt in this country. Now yogurt is like 8 times the size. Because yogurt used to be plain and in large tubs. And now it's all single serve, fruit, savory stuff, right? All, 40 or 4,000 different flavors, and that's how people like to have it, right? They don't want plain large tubs of stuff. They want it single serve in their house too. So we basically said, why not cottage cheese? We can do the same thing for cottage cheese that was done for yogurt, and cottage cheese has actually got more protein and less sugar than yogurt, than even Greek yogurt does.
Really?
So that was
who came to you and said, we want to breathe new life into cottage cheese in America?
Well, there's an Israeli company called Tenuva, and they're the largest food company in Israel. And by the way, they sell all kinds of dairy products. They sell milk and cheese, soft cheese, hard cheese, yogurt, ice cream. They also sell cottage cheese. In fact, yogurt is huge in Israel, like in the U.S., but cottage cheese is even bigger. And their cottage cheese is actually kind of unique. It's different than what we have in the U.S., and that's kind of what we've done that here. But they basically said, we want to take and build a business in America. And so they found me, and I said, yeah, sure, let's go. This makes a lot of sense.
Well, they found you because you were kind of a food guy. You worked for a bunch of different companies. You're responsible for SodaStream, which is seltzer water, and that made $200 million or something. In that ballpark. So why did they tap you, do you think?
Yeah, I think for a few reasons. SodaStream I kind of built from scratch in the U.S. I took over after they tried for a few years. After a few years, they had a few $100,000 in sales, and they hired me, and I built the business to a couple $100 million, as you said. So they liked that I had the experience in building a new brand, basically, from scratch in America, and also kind of disrupting a category. SodaStream disrupted kind of cans and bottles of soda and seltzer and sparkling water, right? And we're disrupting also a category. In this case, it's cottage cheese. So that kind of disruptor thing was another one. And
I love that, disruptor with cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Who came up with Munna, and what does that mean?
It means absolutely nothing. We made it up.
I love that.
The design firm, which is a great firm, same firm that designed several leading yogurt brands. They kind of came up with a few different ideas, and we kind of landed on Munna. We liked it a lot. We liked how it sounded.
Moon
we liked how
like
it looked.
Dairy like a
Moon
cow?
like dairy like cow, exactly. And kind of the letters, they liked how it kind of looks pretty cool. So, just like a lot of things out there, Google, Yahoo, all these things, they mean absolutely nothing, So, but we just thought it had a nice kind of moon, cow, and dairy association.
Now, when I was a kid, my mother used cottage cheese as a diet food.
Right.
And you're right, it was in the big tub and it was plain. When I went to college, I used to dump Lawry's seasoning salt on it, which is really salty.
Right.
But I was making it savory, I guess.
Right.
And I was asking you, you're putting fruit in there,
right,
but you're going to maybe branch out into savories as well.
Oh, sure, that's very
Chives
possible.
And whatever it is.
This was our first step, right? And frankly, there's been no new product development in cottage cheese like in forever. And so we said, if we're going to start, it's a small section in the grocery store. It's not like yogurt, which is massive. So you got a very little space to deal with. So we knew we weren't going to be able to come to them with 25 or 30 or even 10 different flavors.
Right.
So we said, let's start with the most traditional. And frankly, we looked at the yogurt flavors that are out there: blueberry, strawberry, mango, peach, all that stuff. Also pineapple, which is the one flavor that you used to be able to get cottage cheese with. So we said, we'll start with fruit, and then we'll look at expanding not only the fruit, but also savory as well. That's certainly going to be step 2.
All right, well, I think we have to open this.
Sure.
All right, so this is a single serving,
It's
snack
a single
size.
serve. It, again, doesn't, until now, we haven't seen much like this. This is the same size as yogurt, 5.3 ounces, 150 grams, same size. We came up with our design firm. We wanted something unique, so even the shape is kind of unique. It's kind of got these like little legs and all that, so we didn't just take a standard.
This kind of design to get this.
Well, we didn't want a standard thing. We wanted to really do something different. And as I said, nobody is printing doing this kind of graphics, and because you know, you taste with your eyes first, right?
You do.
You know, so you
Yeah.
want food should
That's
look
why there's
good.
pictures of food when you're
You would
doing
think so.
recipes.
You know, exactly.
All right, so you pop this open, and
You
I
pop
have
this open,
tried these.
yeah.
And this was new to me because I'd never seen fruit on the bottom.
Right.
So it's just like yogurt. So this is the
That's right.
strawberries
That's right.
on the bottom. You've got the blueberries.
I've got blueberries. Yeah, you've literally got pieces of blueberry fruit in here.
All right.
It's very high quality, all natural, you know, fruit, pieces of fruit.
This is
right?
made
no
in
artificial colors
Minnesota.
or, you know, this is made in Minnesota by a large dairy company on our behalf.
Made in
to our
America.
own process. We had to adapt the process to how we make it because, you know, this is what we're going to talk about is that this is not like normal cottage cheese and that it's like much more melt in your mouth, creamy.
Is
it's
this
not
the type
like,
of
you know,
Israeli cottage
yes.
cheese? So
yeah. it's much
small
softer,
curd.
small curd, but also
Yeah.
softer and creamier. It kind of melts in your mouth is the best way to
Yeah.
describe it. So it's that's part of what allows us to put less sugar in it, still taste sweet.
Yeah.
Is it's, you know, compared to yogurt and other things too, because it isn't, you know, got that sour taste or that thick thing. You know, it's a really soft, creamy taste.
Did you ever, in your wildest imagination, think you would be CEO of a cottage cheese company?
No, in fact, when I got a call, you know, from a recruiting firm about it, they said cottage cheese. I'm like, cottage cheese? Do they still sell cottage cheese? And I didn't realize it's still $1 billion
Did you ever eat it as a
business.
kid?
I had it occasionally. Mom had it, you know, and I had it occasionally.
Yeah.
But no,
But did she
actually,
use it?
but I switched to yogurt.
Did she
Again,
use
I was
it
one of
as
those
a
kids who
as a
I had a blueberry yogurt every morning, you know, because I wanted blueberry, you know.
Right.
But,
So, what are you hearing from the yogurt capitals about? Hey, what are you guys doing?
well, not yet, but I'm sure that we will. You know, we're disrupting the market. They're pretty busy right now themselves, but. You know, especially because, again, the story here, because cottage cheese was sold kind of as a diet food, like you said, and we're not doing that. You
My
know,
mom
diet-
used to
nobody's
put
diet food,
canned
you know.
peaches on it.
Yeah, that's right.
And out they'd go, and
There you
I'd be
go.
like, ooh, that doesn't, you know.
No, now she can do fresh peas.
We would always, obviously you have the plain kind too.
Yes.
But we would
Yeah, we have
use
plain,
this
yeah.
as potato chip dip.
Yeah, it's
Did you ever do
great.
that?
It's actually great as a sour cream, and we have recipes on our website. It is great as a sort of a substitute for sour cream, and it's kind of lower fat and more protein. So, I mean, you can use it instead of sour cream, you can use it instead of ricotta, and you can do all of that kind of stuff. And some people have done that over the years, you know, and we definitely encourage that. But what wasn't done is the yogurt story. That, okay, now for the same amount of calories as a Greek yogurt, I can have more protein and less sugar, right, for many of them. So that's really a huge, you know, benefit. And again, the taste is really, I mean, I think it's really good, and the consumers are telling us it's really good, and the retailers, the people, I mean, you know, but we come to them and say, when's the last time anyone made a presentation to you about the cottage cheese
Well,
category?
that's why you're on. I thought
You
this
know?
is a riot.
Right.
And it's called
You know.
Munna.
Right.
And like I said, I saw it on Twitter, was watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What's interesting, on your website, you have coupons you can print out. Is there a give back piece to Munna? Are you still developing this? Because you just got going in August
We
2016.
just got going, but yeah, we are definitely looking at that, and stay tuned. But there's definitely a piece that we're definitely looking to give back. But we just launched in August, just 8 months
Right.
ago, and we're already in. We started in the Northeast. We're already in over 4,000 stores in 8 months.
And why,
So,
do you think? Because it's just something new?
I think it's because I think they've been looking for something. The next Greek yogurt retailers are looking for, I guess. They're looking for the next thing that's going on. And protein is still a very big trend in this country. So if you look at the shelves in the stores, that's still something consumers want a lot. You know, they don't want diets, but they want positive things, right? Whether it's probiotics, protein, all these kinds of things. And so we deliver on a real on-trend behavior, which is snacking, which is huge. Protein, which
I
is
call
huge.
it grazing all day long.
Grazing, exactly. You know, and it's good throughout the day. So.
And it's
that's why.
gluten-free.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
All right, so that's good. And
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
health conscious, so you
That's
just
right.
pick one of these up and you go.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anything else you want to tell me about Munna and what's rolling out as we go forward?
Yeah, so again, well, first of all, we're going to start rolling out more nationwide. Now, we start in the Northeast and we'll gradually build. And then we're going to look at, we do have a larger size, which isn't here, but we are definitely going to look at more flavors and more flavor development, because that's really, again, if you look at what people want, they want their own. They want to have their own flavor. And stay tuned, and we'll quite have a few more of those as well.
And do you think you're going to end your life career in cottage cheese? Is this going to go on, or is there other things?
There's for me and then there's for Munna, because for Munna, this is step one. I mean, we're a dairy company, right? And, so cottage cheese is step one, and we think there's a huge potential in this. We think that there's not only potential to take a share of the billion-dollar cottage cheese category, but to grow the category, right? Just like yogurt grew. But step two is there's other dairy products we think that we can bring to the market that have also kind of either been a bit sleepy or don't even exist yet.
So you're going to disrupt something else?
Something else, or create something else, and stay tuned for that. But if you think about hummus, hummus was a category that didn't exist before. It's not dairy, it's beans, but it doesn't exist. There are other products like that in dairy, not in this country, but in other countries, Israel and other places, that haven't been introduced here yet. And so we think there's an opportunity to kind of introduce new segments of dairy, into the market.
Soon? A year?
A couple of years away. A couple of years away. Yeah.
Gerard Meyer, thank you so much for coming on and explaining to us how important cottage cheese is. I grew up with it, and then it's $1 billion business.
Yeah, and growing now.
And growing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Spend all night kissing and the bump is right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked if I'm so wishing to find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Things keep locked in the grocery store, but mine just to save time. Skip right ahead to the last ride.